Hey friends, welcome back to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. I'm so excited about today's topic because we're coming back to the Enneagram, and we've been exploring the Enneagram and how each type shows up in leadership and in life. And today we're diving into what it means to live and lead as an Enneagram Type 1, also known as the Perfectionist or the Reformer. If you've been with us for a while, you know that I love using the Enneagram as a tool for both personal and professional growth. Its depth is truly unique. What sets it apart is that it doesn't try to change who you are. Instead, it illuminates patterns that help you understand your core strengths while revealing potential blind spots that may hold you back. It helps you grow not only by sharpening your skills, but by allowing you to become more aware of your areas for improvement. So let's get on with our discussion about the Enneagram Type 1. Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever but never really felt good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Do you want more time for the things that matter most? Well, you are in the right place. Here on the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast, we focus on spirit-driven success and share the secrets to having better work-life balance as a busy woman in leadership. Here you will learn how to set boundaries like a boss, find peace of mind, and reclaim your time for the things that matter most. Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, and certified Christian life coach. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement. I spent decades people-pleasing and pouring myself into my work. I was looking for my value through the approval of others. This led me to feel burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I realized that I was wasting time and energy looking for validation in all the wrong places. But my life changed when I finally surrendered and God showed me a different way. It is my mission to help you start living the abundant life God has for you. If you're ready to become fueled by grace and find freedom from people-pleasing, if you're ready to multiply your time and impact as a Christian woman in leadership, this podcast is for you. Roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it. Let's start by unpacking what makes an Enneagram Type 1 tick. The journey of an Enneagram 1 often starts with an early, deep-seated longing for things to be right. They have a strong sense of justice, integrity, and moral clarity, which can be traced back to their core desire to live a life that is good and purposeful. This desire stems from an underlying fear of being seen as bad or corrupt or defective. And as a result, Enneagram 1s develop patterns of self-criticism and often become their harshest judges. This inner critic is relentless and constantly points out where they could have done better, where things aren't quite perfect, and where others are falling short. Over time, this builds a tendency toward perfectionism, a desire to fix things, and a strong aversion to making mistakes, or to others making mistakes. Now, let's be real. Being an Enneagram 1 isn't always easy. That constant striving for perfection can lead to burnout and frustration and even resentment when things or people don't meet their high standards. And while that inner drive is powerful and productive, it can also be exhausting, both for the one themselves and for those that they're in relationship or those that they lead. But here's the beautiful part. When a 1 learns to loosen their grip on perfection and trust God's grace, they can lead with incredible integrity, wisdom, and compassion. So what are the defining traits of an Enneagram 1? Well, first, high standards and integrity. Enneagram 1s have an innate drive to live out their values. They hold themselves and others to a high moral and ethical standard, and they're always striving to improve things around them. They have a strong inner critic, that internal voice telling them what's wrong and what could be better, is a constant companion for the 1. This makes them diligent and hardworking, but can also be a very strong source of stress. Type 1s have a desire for justice and fairness. They deeply care about doing what is right. They're often drawn to causes or roles where they can bring positive change and uphold fairness. And finally, they're very organized and detail-oriented. In leadership, 1s are highly structured and efficient. They're known for their ability to get things done right, paying close attention to the details. So let's talk about the strengths of the Enneagram 1 and what they bring to leadership. Because 1s are driven by a deep sense of responsibility and a desire to do things well, they can be incredibly effective and reliable leaders. Here are a few of their standout strengths. Integrity and accountability. 1s lead by example. They are trustworthy and consistent, holding themselves accountable to very high standards, which inspires others to do the same. Commitment to excellence. They want things done right, and they will work tirelessly to ensure the job is done to the best of their ability. This commitment to excellence often creates a high-performing team culture. Strong ethical compass. Type 1s naturally lean into ethical decision-making. They ensure that fairness, justice, and honesty guide their actions and the policies they implement in their leadership roles. And finally, they have a high attention to detail. 1s do not miss a beat. Their careful eye for detail allows them to catch issues before they become problems, making them great at managing projects and ensuring quality work. Now, while there is a lot to admire about Enneagram 1s, there are a few potential blind spots to be aware of. Areas where their strengths can sometimes become derailers. The first is in their perfectionism and overcriticism. That same desire for excellence that drives 1s can also make them overly critical, both of themselves and of others. This can lead to micromanaging or an inability to delegate because they fear that others won't meet their standards. They may have a difficulty with flexibility. Because they have a clear idea of how things should be, 1s can struggle with flexibility and adapting to unexpected changes. They may find it hard to let go of control or accept when things don't go according to plan. Boy, do I have a few 1s in my life. 1s can have that harsh inner critic. That inner voice of self-criticism can be debilitating at times, leading to feelings of guilt or frustration. It can also cause them to judge others harshly, leading to tension in their relationships and in their teams. And finally, one potential blind spot is workaholism. 1s have a strong drive to get it right, which often leads to overworking or feeling like they can never rest until everything is perfect. This can easily cause burnout and affect their work-life balance. So how do these traits show up in leadership? Well, as leaders, Enneagram 1s are naturally principled, driven, and highly organized. They bring a lot of stability and structure to their teams, ensuring that things run smoothly and efficiently. They often excel in roles where ethical decision-making and attention to detail are crucial, like operations, compliance, or any position where systems need to be optimized. However, their high standards can sometimes create tension within their teams. Because they see the world in terms of right and wrong, they may struggle with delegating or trusting others to do things their way. This can lead to micromanaging, which might frustrate team members and stifle creativity. Learning to embrace flexibility, trust their team members, and celebrate progress over perfection is key for Type 1s to grow as leaders. So, if you are an Enneagram 1 or if you lead someone who is, what are some actionable steps you can take to live and lead more effectively? Number 1, practice grace and self-compassion. Remember that God's grace is greater than your imperfections. Let go of the need for everything to be perfect and give yourself permission to rest in His grace. Number 2, delegate and trust your team. Let go of control and trust that your team can handle tasks, even if they don't do it exactly the way you would. Delegation fosters growth and trust within your team. Number 3, challenge your inner critic. That voice telling you you're not good enough, challenge it with God's truth. You are enough just as you are, and your worth is not based on your performance. Number 4, embrace flexibility. Leadership requires adaptability. Be open to different ways of doing things and don't be afraid to let go of your ideal vision in favor of what works best for the situation. And finally, prioritize rest. Rest isn't just a nice to have, it is essential. Take time to step away, to recharge, and trust that God is in control, even when you aren't working. As an Enneagram 1, you have an incredible gift for seeing what's broken and working tirelessly to make it better. But remember, you are not responsible for fixing everything. God is. Lean into His grace. Trust His plan. And lead and live with compassion, both for yourself and those around you. My Enneagram 1s, I hope that you're hearing this today and soaking it in. Those of you that are or know Enneagram 1s, I hope this has been helpful. And as always, I pray that the Lord fills you with gratitude, His peace, and His amazing, amazing grace. I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.